Will the government review all penalty fines imposed on families travelling for childcare purposes during lockdown?
It's a very good question. And we do understand the impact and the need for making sure that children get adequate childcare. That is one of the significant concerns that we've had all the way through this. And so I think, especially coming from a man of the cloth, I think that is perfectly reasonable to take away that question. I'll have to talk to my Treasury colleagues before I can answer it in full, and we'll look at it. And if we can get your details, we'll make sure that we write to you with a full answer and make an announcement from this podium. I think we can make that commitment.
Secretary of State, you and your wife tested positive for COVID-19. You have 3 young children, but you chose to stay at home in London. What is the relevant difference between you and Dominic Cummings?
The relevant difference, Robert, is that we had childcare readily available at home and Mr. Cummings didn't.
On Monday, there's going to be a major landmark with the beginning of Test and Trace, which will hopefully help beat this virus while reopening the economy. Professor Newton, as a noted epidemiologist, how important is it to the success of this great project that people obey the instructions they're given by contact tracers to the letter and to the spirit? Can they, for example, follow their instincts to interpret this guidance?
It will allow us to control the virus in a different phase of the pandemic while we are returning back to normal. But it's important to stress that it has to be seen alongside other measures, such as continued social distancing wherever we can, and also basic hygiene, and all those things will contribute. Because we know that no country in the world that adopts test and trace, we will not be able to find every case, and we will not be able to trace every contact. But to your point, the programme will give contacts very clear instructions. They will be phrased as instructions rather than advice, and we do expect people to follow them.
You're going to be asking families to isolate for 2 weeks on the say-so of an official, even if they don't have symptoms. Can you make that big ask if the people who are writing the orders aren't following them?
Well, as I said, Joe, I think that it is incredibly important that people play their part in the test and trace system. It will be somebody from the NHS. These are all signed off by the NHS. So people are doing this, they're not doing it for me. People are doing this for their loved ones. If you're phoned up and asked to self-isolate, even though you're perfectly healthy, because you've been in close contact with somebody who's tested positive, then it's your civic duty to then self-isolate for yourself, for your community, for your family.